Hi there, welcome to the trade recap video for the 13th of June 2025, which is a Friday, and it's the last day of the week, of course. So following up with our trade yesterday, and we left it running, and unfortunately it came all the way back up and hit our stop loss, which was put down to the break-even point. So that was a huge loss for us in the sense that we didn't realize any of the profit. Now it's interesting here that I had put the first TP just literally at this level, and there was an initial spike at the beginning of today, and it looks from the chart that the TP1 should have been hit, but alas it wasn't. So it's one of those things where there's slippage, especially at the beginning of each day, depending on the broker as well, but I think it works for most of the brokers. So that's why it was not triggered, and so TP1 wasn't hit. Now, in hindsight, of course, again, we live and learn. There was a 15-minute order block, and I should have really put my first TP at the very least in the middle point of that order block, and that would have been a good point to take some profits at. So that's that. And today, pound Aussie, same pair, did trigger something else. It triggered another entry, and unfortunately that one, looking at this order block here, I should have not put the stop loss at 0.11 level, which is our usual level for stop loss. I should have put it over at the 0 level instead, and that would have kept my trade going. Even now, as you can see, it's sort of meandering between a little bit of profit and break even. Nonetheless, it wouldn't have been stopped out as it did here between the London morning session and New York morning session. So that's another bomber, really, another blunder if you like, because the strategy is 0.11 for stop loss typically. However, if there is an order block beyond that, i.e. between 0.11 and 0, then we should stretch out the stop loss to 0 level, and perhaps even, to keep the stop loss tight, instead of entering at 0.382, we could enter at 0.236, which clearly would have been feasible here, because 0.236 would be at this 5-minute level BPR. So that was another loss, and I believe there was another one still, which was pound CAD. Yes, that's it. So pound CAD, again, there was this order block based on there was a CRT based on the 4-hour time frame, which was telling us that perhaps it's going to hit back after that little bounce back from the 4-hour OB right at the beginning of the London morning session. Now, it went up in our favor quite a little bit, and then it was wandering away into uncertainty, really. There was no sort of momentum either up or down, neither up nor down. And then eventually, as London session came into afternoon and the New York session stepped in, it went against us and hit the lower 4-hour OB, and then bumped up. And there was a third one, which was pound USD rather. Now, this was quite shocking in the sense that it was a great entry taken at the 4th hour of London session, coming typically at the level that we expect, which is between 0.382 and 0.11. And then it went in our favor for a little bit, only to hit back down and sweep through this bottom wick, and then go right back up in our favor. If that doesn't feel frustrating, I don't know what does. And I think this is the game we choose to play in the trading arena. We have to put up with these stop loss hunts and just play to survive and live in the long run. So here you can see the 4-hour OB at the top was completely taken over with that sweep, and then it bounced back from the lower 4-hour OB and then went literally shooting up into the bearish 4-hour order block and then bouncing back from that. So yeah, so that's how it's been this week. Not a particularly good one in that sense. It was a loss, as you can see from this calendar. Just a day of green and 4 days of red, as opposed to last week we had 2 sizable days of green and 3 days of losses, but they were fairly controlled. Overall it was a plus, but this week is overall not a huge, but a loss nonetheless. I think it was about 7%. So, that's not a reason for us to consider 0.5% in the risking in terms of per trade. Once we start the prop firm challenge, this is of course not a prop firm challenge on TradingView, right? So that's the situation. We look forward to next week with hopefully better prospect. There are still 2 more weeks left in this month, and we are hoping to make this yet another profitable month, God willing. Of course, last month was profitable, which was May. April was also profitable. So if June could be profitable, that would be 3 months in the trot. 3 months on the trot. That would be profitable. All right, so I shall leave you to that. I shall leave you at that and talk to you soon. Talk to you next weekend. Next week, rather. Have a nice weekend. Bye now.